I'm glad you've arrived. Let's begin. We shall all weigh in on the situation.
Lor'themar glances at Umbrick and Romath.
As you can see, there are many tensions at play. Please give us a moment to discuss. Silvermoon is grateful for your aid. There are those that will disagree with my decision, but I will not have us lose our home. If we must host temporary guests, so be it.
I've more to review with Turalion, but in the meantime, the rest of the city should be informed that we will have some temporary guests in the outer perimeter. I'd like you to check in with a few key civilians and deliver the news. While you're out there, take the chance to familiarize yourself with Silvermoon. We've made impressive strides rebuilding it since you've last visited.
So you are the champion I have heard so much about. Many of my people are still alive thanks to your efforts at the Sunwell. You have my gratitude now. If only I can convince these elves that this war is more important than just their city.
Fish are delicious, but also beautiful to behold. The Sunwhisker are just lovely, don't you think? What do you seek, adventurer? Which profession trainer are you looking for? Allow me to mark that on your map.
Thank you for choosing the Bank of Silvermoon. What may I do for you today?
Where would you like to fly?
I do not believe you possess the mental acuity to grasp the nature of portal magic. I offer what shelter I can in our shattered lands. I offer what shelter I can in our shattered lands. I'll be working with the Reliquary as they venture deeper into hostile territory. Was there something you need?
In recent years, small pockets of wild growth we call light bloom have blossomed throughout Eversong, a curiosity for our local botanists for the most part. However, the Magistrix in Fairbreeze is asking for help with the local light bloom. I've no idea what that might entail, but I also lack any forces to send at the moment. I therefore ask you to go attend to the issue. Magister Romath can provide you with an arcane projector to keep in touch.
My duty is to protect the whole of Eversong.
Welcome.
I have all the...
What do you seek, adventurer? Which profession trainer are you?
Greetings. Are you seeking instruction in enchanting?
What do you seek, adventurer? Which profession trainer are you looking for? Allow me to mark that on your map.
Greetings. Are you seeking instruction in mining?
Welcome to Fairbreeze Village. The light bloom appeared sometime after the Sunwell was reignited. Simple patches of unusual growth here and there. Nothing to be concerned with. As the light imbued us through the Sunwell, it also seemed to imbue the flora as well. Fascinating, really. We've always been able to shape the forests around us, but the light bloom seems more stubborn. It is wilder, less malleable. Almost as if it has a mind of its own. Of course, that is silly to think about. They're just plants after all. Plants don't think. Welcome to Fairbreeze. The wildlife has gone crazy. These horrible beasts are ruining the tranquility of my town. The worst of the lot is a lynx we've started to call Sharpmaw. She has eaten pets and threatened small children. It is only a matter of time before she tastes elven flesh and craves more. Stop her before she starts attacking my people in earnest. Welcome to Fairbreeze Village. Fairbreeze is being overrun. Unsightly animals have come in from the wilds. They're attacking our sweet pets, overturning our belongings, and causing havoc. I am at my wit's end. Handle it for us. Won't you? This elf troll person hasn't lifted a finger.
I hear the song of the world, and I answer. The wildlife here seems to have been upset by something. Perhaps this is why the world's song bade me here, to discover why and correct it. Study the displaced wildlife. Bring me your findings. If there is anything unusual, I wish to know of it. I will speak with the magistrates. Perhaps together we can uncover this mystery.
The Sunwell's radiance may shine, but its light has not purged the filth that festers within this city. Smugglers scuttle through the streets like vermin, preying upon the desperate and enriching the spineless. Yet there are whispers of something fouler still, trade in wares so vile that even the venture company would recoil. I require someone to spy on each shipping company and find out which cloaks a smuggling ring. Will you stand with me, or will you turn away as the rot spreads?
Quel'Thalas is vast, but my Hawkstriders know the skies well. Where shall we take you? A little lesson. Trying to fool me twice is a grave error. My dim-witted pupil has yet to return from their rendezvous with their acquaintance. Normally I would not bat an eye, but he has a journal of mine. I want that journal back. Would you be a dear and remind him?
Apprentices who can keep them tied down. Taemin was a particularly talented arcanist, but his head was always in the clouds. Or in the woods, really. Instead of studying, he buried his nose in storybooks, the legends of Eversong, the rangers of old heroes of the Sindore. He couldn't get enough. The dreaming fool, and now, no, he is not dead. Did I imply that he has just run off to join the Farstriders? Check in on him, won't you? See if he has come to his senses. So, what did our fine dockworkers have to say? Ah, a note on special cargo. How delightfully subtle. About as discreet as a goblin's pyrotechnics. It seems the Tideborn are entangled in this mess, and we have little choice but to wade in after them. If that means diving into the depths, so be it. Tideborn Freight, is it? A name far too polished, like an ornate blade designed to distract from the blood it has shed, smuggling through the port. But I suspect this venture involves something far more perilous than we think. We must act with haste before they set sail and vanish into the mists. Keep your weapons honed and your senses sharper. Make them understand that crossing me was a grave miscalculation. This note all but drips with guilt. But mere words alone will not bring down Tideborn Freight. I require undeniable proof, evidence so damning that not even their will. Bribed magistrates can turn a blind eye. That is where you come in. Take this arcane recorder and make your way to the docks. Document their shipments, their crew, anything that reeks of smuggling. A single image can speak volumes, and I intend to make every word count. Welcome to Fairbreeze Village. A what, plant monster? Well, good riddance to both it and Sharpmaw. You have our gratitude. Welcome to Fairbreeze. Thank you so much. Everything has been so completely out of control.
I hear the song of the world. This light bloom dotted seems to be the cause of every trouble here. I hear the song of the world. The wildlife seems to have been displaced from the south. It is there we will surely find answers. Come, I will use my magic to illuminate the path, and we will follow the trail. I hear the song of the world, and I answer.
These creatures seem light-blessed. They're so vicious.
They claimed this as their territory. We are now encroaching.
This Defender's corpse has been savaged by beak and talon. As you examine the wounds, a tendril of vegetative growth sprouts up from within the body.
this
These creatures all come from here. This light bloom. This is where the song of the world was leading me. I have been called here for a reason. The creatures of this light bloom see us as the intruders. They threaten the surrounding wildlife and inhabitants who are naturally here. We should reduce their numbers and end this threat. I have been called here for a reason. This place is unlike anything I have seen before. The plant growth is unique. Let us examine the light bloom more closely. Perhaps we can uncover the secrets of this place together. This will bring some peace to the region for now, at least. I hear the song of the world. I hear the song of the world, and I answer. This makes no sense. The Rutani are not like this. Not where I am from. At least, there is something affecting them. This behavior is not normal. I will channel on this strange seed we have collected, and see if I can discover what has happened here. This may upset the Rutani. Make sure I am not interrupted. This is why I was called here. I know now. But I must discover what needs to be done. I have been called here for a reason. I have been called here for the Rutani are trying to spread the growth of the light bloom as far and wide as possible. But why?
This growth, Lord the Mar needs to know about this. I worry what will happen should it get out of control, and the light's influence. My father should know too. This light bloom is not what I expected. Nothing further to be done here, then. Let's go see Umbric. Magister Umbric. He is second only to Mother in mastering the Void. I am sure he'll be able to help. If he can forgive the others for not listening to him in the first place, there seems to be much of that going around. Never mind. The last I heard, the Void Elves have temporarily settled in what remains of Windrunner Village. I suppose Tranquillian was more open to believing Umbric's intentions. Let's find out.
I have been called here for a reason.
But of course, they would prefer to keep prying eyes at bay. They are guarding something. Now we must uncover precisely what it is. There it is, caught in the act. Disposing of cargo into the ocean. Clearly they are erasing evidence, which can only mean one thing. We are closing in on something significant. Discarding crates into the ocean. How utterly desperate. Whatever they seek to conceal must be damning. Sufficient enough to unravel their entire operation, should we recover it. Take a deep breath and retrieve it before the current sweeps it away. Every thread we pull unravels their scheme further. Soon there will be nothing left but the ruin of their own making. So what did our friends at Tideborne Freight so desperately want to hide? Their scuttling cannot conceal their true intentions forever. Unstable Arcana and Naga, this is hardly just smuggling. It is a disaster waiting to unfold. The Tideborne are dabbling in matters better left untouched. It seems it is now our responsibility to see it resolved before it becomes an issue. If the Naga manage to siphon the remaining arcane energy from those unstable Arcana, they will gain the very power they seek, destroy, incinerate, shatter them. Do whatever is necessary. Ensure not a single shard remains for the Naga or Tideborne to exploit. I do not wish to see even the faintest trace of arcane energy linger. Tideborne's decision to discard crates into the ocean was no mere error. It was a calculated delivery. Pursue them, and ensure the Naga are reminded of the grave consequences they face when they dare to cross us. You did what was required. If the cargo is gone, that is a victory. But our work is far from over. The Tideborne must still answer for their actions. Well done. The Naga may have been handled, but our work is far from complete. Tideborne Freight continues to pull the strings, and it is time we sever their control. The Naga acted out of desperation. Tideborne's crew, however, is driven by arrogance. They sit smugly aboard their ship, convinced of their invulnerability and counting their ill-gotten wealth. It is time we put an end to that. Captain Bloodwake shall be made to answer for every crate, every transaction, and every transgression. Are you prepared to extract the truth? Good work. I am sure there will be more figures like him in the future. But at least for today, this port is safe thanks to you. I hope I can count on you again in the future, partner.
Magister Melidor appears to be lost in thought.
Ah, you there. You appear to have the wisdom to assist me. Unlike a certain bow-wielding simpleton who thinks sniffing dirt will solve our problem, we've accidentally misplaced a very important journal. The sort my mentor would transmogrify me to have lost. Please use my arcane timepiece to summon echoes of the past and investigate these moments. That should allow us to find my journal properly without indulging Vardis's primitive methods. While a certain worm-brained mage wastes time with his inept magic, we'll actually solve this case. The local wildlife has likely eaten the journal. Time to gut them and see if we can recover it. If the journal's inside, we'll find it. Unlike someone who couldn't track his own insipid ego if it were carved into the ground.
Magister Melidor and Ranger Vardis appear to be sparring each other. The missing journal is plainly in sight. The journal must have been lost at a different moment in time. Magister Melidor and Ranger Vardis appear to be chatting as they walk up the trail. The missing journal is plainly in sight. The journal must have been lost at a different moment in time. Magister Melidor and Ranger Vardis appear to be having a meal. The missing journal is no longer in sight. The journal must have been lost around this time.
What do you mean none of them had the journal? How is this even possible? It defies logic. If the wildlife didn't take it, then where in the twisting nether could it have gone? That fool. That absolute fool. Wonderful. More glowing projections and angry spirits, yet still no journal step aside. I am ending this nonsense and tracking it properly. A dog of all creatures. This is the thief we've been chasing, and now we must save it from a lynx. Truly, this day has taken a most irritating turn. No matter. We shall retrieve the journal, though I do wonder if this canine truly understands the gravity of its actions. Did you manage to retrieve the journal? A dog, a lynx, and now a ruined journal. Truly, I've seen lesser misfortunes in my day.
Melidor pinches the slobbery journal between his fingers.
It seems the journal's fate was sealed long before we laid eyes on it. It is quite beyond saving. Once again, my faith in anything other than arcane precision has proven misplaced.
Luma stands in front of you, ears perked, thankful for your help. She lets out a short bark, tail wagging once before trotting a few steps forward. Then pausing, glancing back, Luma waits expectantly. Her body language pleads, "Come on, follow me." Luma stands next to a large pile of knickknacks and treasure. This appears to be what she wanted to show you. Luma pants and gives a big toothy grin, her eyebrows smiling like the sun. She seems incredibly proud of herself as she looks at you expectantly. Luma nudges a small reward into your hand as if in appreciation for your help. Perhaps there is no reason to be concerned over the amount of stolen items in the treasure pile after all.
Captain Dawnrunner really took a chance on me, letting a mage become a Farstrider. There is much more running than I expected, and lifting and dirt. But I won't let the Rangers down. It was good of you to check on me, but I am committed to the Farstriders. Captain Dawnrunner, with all the problems facing Eversong, the Farstriders have their hands full. I am a capable Arcanist. I've always admired the Farstriders. Why not lend my talents to their cause? They do so much work by hand, when a bit of magic would allow them so much more time for adventuring. Alas, my enchanted broom idea has not quite gone as I'd hoped. They're so ornery, they end up attacking the recruits instead of cleaning. Perhaps this is a problem for elbow grease after all. I've always dreamed of being a Farstrider. The adventure, the romance, the beauty of nature. When they put out a call for help, I knew I had to join. Captain Dawnrunner assigned me to the library initially, but with everything going on, we all have to be flexible. I don't mind, but I had hoped to collect all the overdue books before being sent on a real assignment. If you find any, would you bring them to the library for me? And feel free to give them a read. There are some interesting volumes.
Resourceful Rangers Quisha Farstrider should never fear to find themselves hungry on patrol, for the woods are bountiful to those who know what to look for. To feed your squadron, you will need 24 Hawkstrider, eggs, 1 pound of foraged greens, 2 pounds of foraged mushrooms. Be sure they are safe to eat. 1 ration of prepared Eversong puff pastry, lynx milk to taste.
Captain Dawnrunner the sweeping will still need to get done, but at least now no one will be attacked. It really takes everyone to get through times like these. It might seem like a small thing, but the small things add up.
The Farstriders exist to protect Eversong from threats great and small. And the small doesn't just disappear in the face of the great. I took a chance on Tommen because he understands that, even if he has some rosy notions of how we go about things. Ranger Valcerin is a chef at Farstrider Hold. He is decent in a kitchen, but his passion is field cooking. There was a time when you could wander any path in Eversong and find the ingredients for a good meal. A Farstrider's dream. With enough hard work, we can help the forest recover, and it starts with rehabilitating the soil. Meet Valcerin at the North Tower, and he can tell you more. Ranger Asterai is one of our veterinarians. She usually cares for our lynxes. But the mana worm molt is too crucial to the health of the forest to go unmonitored. The worms regulate the flow of magic from the ley lines to the rest of the woods. When the ley lines were disrupted, so was their molting season. It is not so dire as it once was, but they still need help from time to time. Meet Asterai at the Central Tower. She can tell you more.
Hope you like getting your hands dirty. It is hard to believe this used to be the Dead Scar. Up here, close to the city, the land has almost completely recovered. Which is good, because we've got a lot of mouths to feed. Hawkstriders are the perfect helpers for preparing the soil. Their tough claws can easily spread seeds and squash bugs. Meet me down in the Tranquil Repose and I'll saddle one up for you. This land is a far cry from what it could be, but it has come a long way from what it was. Little by little, life renews with nourishment. This land is a far cry from what it could be, but nothing like planting seeds. I don't know what to make of those big blooms, but whatever we're doing, the land seems pleased.
This is a much higher concentration of mana worms than I was expecting. I wonder if the light bloom is affecting their migration patterns. It is a good thing we came. They might need more help than usual. Molting. The mana worms molt several times a year. Whenever they've engorged themselves on enough mana, they'll shed the old carapace and grow a new one. That shed carapace dissipates, spreading arcane magic throughout the forest until it eventually flows back into the ley lines. It is a crucial part of Eversong's ecosystem. With all this chaos disrupting the natural flow of mana, we Farstriders have to step in. It is a good thing we came. There are more mana worms here than usual. This is a much higher concentration. Mana worms may not be as glamorous as lynxes or hawkstriders, but they're crucial to keeping magic flowing through the forest. They congregate on the ley lines to molt, but sometimes they get a little agitated, and we have to help them out aggressively. I've set up some ley channels to get things started. Find worms that look like they could use a little help, and beat them up until they shed their arcane carapace. Don't worry, all that mana returns to the forest eventually. This is a much... This is a much higher... Don't worry, they bounce right back. Another successful molt. We'll be out here in a few weeks to do it all again. This is a much higher concentration. Despite being new to the Farstriders, Tommen has the hardest assignment. Eversong Woods has mostly recovered, but the further south you go, the more dangerous things get. He is a capable mage, though, and we need his nose for magic. We'll meet you down there once things are wrapped up here. Captain Dawnrunner was going to provide backup. She should be there by now.